What is up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Props to Consider and Then Maybe Bet. If you noticed in the title, it also says, and sometimes with guests. When we come back in 2 weeks, I will be sometimes piloting alone, and sometimes I'll have a guest breaking down some of the props on the cards with me, but that's for the future. We do have 6 weeks of UFC events coming up after we do get one more break next week. But enough about that. We have this card to worry about. Guys, if you're watching this, please like the video. If you haven't already subscribed to the MMA Engine channel, please do so. We provide great content for DFS betting. We got Uncle Weezy, we got Monk, we got Brady, all providing statistical analysis, prop analysis, DFS lineup building, whatever you want for your MMA betting weekend. And please follow me personally, Lou Betya, on Twitter. Not only do I do UFC stuff, but I do a lot of soccer bets. If you aren't that, if you need to have morning bets before the UFC cards start, college football, pro football, all that stuff. But without further ado, let's get into this card, UFC 61, Vegas 61, and let's see what props I have cooked up in the lab for this. First and foremost, Guido Canetti against Randy Costa in the bantamweight division. This is a really odd fight. It's odd that it's the opener because it should be a pretty exciting fight. I don't see it going long. I realize there's a contrarian angle where you could go over 1.5, but what stands out to me here is Randy Costa has never won a fight that's gone past the 2.5-minute mark. And it's mostly due to his style, but a lot of it is due to the fact that he's not defensively responsible. He has a lot of power. I think we know what we're getting from him at this point. I don't know that he's going to look at Canetti and totally respect his power. He may just think he knows he can get him out of there. But Canetti's wily. He's older. Punching power is the last thing to go. So if you do like the Costa side, Costa and under a half round, this is on DraftKings, is plus 275. As we're going to see in a couple other fights that I cover on this card, it's his winning condition. Winning in the first 2 minutes of the fight is his winning condition. So as opposed to playing his round 1 KO, which is minus 105, I believe, or his KO prop in general, take a stab at the way he wins fights, which is the under 2.5-minute mark. Now, that being said, Guido Canetti is no joke. He's got some power. Yeah, he's older, but his movement's still okay. And whereas he's not the most defensively responsible, the guy can hit, and Costa has shown his chin can be compromised. So I like a live bet on this fight as well after it gets out of the first round on Canetti, depending on what price you get. I think if you get anything upward of plus 300, it's worth a shot. But Canetti KO plus 500 and the round 2 KO at plus 1400. Now, I looked at best fight odds yesterday and I saw that round 1 was plus 1800, round 2 was plus 2500. I got really excited. These are the numbers on DraftKings Sportsbook. Check all your books. FanDuel might have a way bigger price here. I've been using Bet Rivers a little more, Sugar House for PA people. So check your odds, see if you can get a better price on that. Of note, his round 1 KO against Matinho was plus 1200, and those odds have come down. So I feel like they're on to what his prime winning condition is. If this thing gets out of the first round, I think Canetti is incredibly live to win this. So these are the 3 props to consider. I actually lean on the Canetti side, maybe because I'm a fellow guy in his 40s, but I got to lean toward the older guys here. And honestly, as much promise as Costa has shown me, hanging out with Paulo Costa, probably not good for your fight camp. Like, we don't really know what's in that secret juice, but I don't really advise it. So give me Canetti to get it done by KO, and give me Canetti round 2. Start off your day with a plus 1400 banger. Next up, Julius Stolyarenko against Chelsea Chandler. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Stolyarenko's win condition has always been round 1 sub. The last time she fought against JRC, I was on the Lambo show with Narco and Tim Troiano and Brady, and this was the first fight of the night, Stolyarenko and Jesse Rose Clark. I had Stolyarenko round 1 sub. It was plus 900, I believe, on that show. It's her win condition. All her wins are round 1 subs. She's pretty durable, but Chelsea Chandler, from the tape that I've seen on her, whereas I think she's kind of tough in terms of getting hit, I don't like the way she sticks her head out. I don't like the way she gets herself into bad positions. I think Stolyarenko, all it will take is 1 takedown in the first round, and this prop should hit. If this fight gets out of the first round, I don't deserve to win this prop anyway. Chandler is potentially worthy of a live bet. I would say use your discretion. See how she looks in the first round. If she hasn't been taken down at all, she's probably going to be the favorite and you missed the boat. But if she survives on the ground in the first round, you probably get decent odds with her. And we've never seen Orenko really do anything other than that round one sub. So at plus 600, totally worth a stab for me here. I am also on fight doesn't go the distance, but round one sub is the prime prop here. Moving on to Maxine Grisham against Felipe Lins. I have Grisham KO here. Simply put, I do not trust Lins. I do not like what I've seen. I do not like that Prashnio rocked him. I'm going to just make a speculation here. I feel like with Lins, ever since he won the million, maybe the hunger's not there. I can't speak for him. Again, this is just, me speculating. But Grisham has at least shown he's responsible defensively, and he's got some decent power. When he's on the ground, he's not hunting for submissions. He's looking to ground and pound. I just don't trust the chin of Lins, and you give me 15 minutes with Grisham to get it. I do think he gets it done. I avoided round props for this one completely because it's a pretty low-level fight, and digging into their stats, I don't see a prime round condition for either guy. So give me Grisham KO plus 275. He's a great parlay piece, money line wise. I think he's minus 180 right now. Completely reasonable. It says 175 on the screen, but I think I've seen a lot of 180s hanging up there. So totally reasonable parlay piece, but I do like the KO here. All right, now here's the one that's going to cause a little bit of controversy, maybe. Jocko against Brendan Allen. I really didn't know what to do with this fight, to be honest. At first, pre-tape, I thought Allen, I know he's a more exciting fighter. I feel like he's got, if there's finish upside here, it's probably on his end. But Jocko, so defensively responsible, but kind of boring at this point. So we know we're getting in fights with him. I was on him against GM3, and I'm a big GM3 guy, just styles make fights, though. Allen's last fight, I'm heartbroken because I had the Malkoun decision at plus 850. I had been hyping that prop since the Sunday of that fight week, and we almost got there. Now, the problem I have with taking a straight bet on Jocko is we're seeing a shift in the judging where they want more than just pitter patter. They are now starting to actively attempt to look for more damage, and that's one thing that Jocko doesn't do a lot of. But I don't know how this fight's going to play out on the ground. Jocko has shown he's willing to go for takedowns. He was more than happy to do it to GM3. I don't think Allen's takedown defense is great, but he's still dangerous on the ground, still hunts for subs. On the feet, I think it's going to be pretty 50-50. I can see this fight 9 times out of 10 going the distance. Like I said, if just finish equity, it's on the Allen side, but Jocko can't finish a sandwich. So I think this fight goes decision more often than not. And if it's playing out 50-50 on the ground and it's playing out 50-50 on the feet, where I don't think either guy really damages the other one, give me the fight to end and split at plus 450. And if you're going to bet that prop, always bet both sides of it and get that double up. If Brendan Allen wins by split decision, plus 1,100 is incredible odds for this. You'll hit 2 out of the 3 bets. You will profit big on this fight. And then all you have to root for is Sal D'Amato or Girl Adelaide Bird. Just put that split screen up and you've already won. So I think this fight goes decision. I mean, I said 9 out of 10 times, but even that seems kind of low here. So split decision either way, and you're taking it to the bank. Next up, Joaquim Silva against Jesse Ronson. Flat out, I'm on my biggest bet for this fight. This is one of my biggest bets on the card is the under. Ronson's getting older. He's had some issues with PEDs. I don't know that I trust him completely. And Joaquim Silva's coming off 2 pretty bad knockout losses. So I can only, if I'm going to see a guy with 2 knockout losses, I know Ronson's coming off getting subbed. I don't know that Silva, I don't know that I trust him to defend, to be a big grappler here. I think this fight will play out on the feet a lot. If it does, it's more of a fade on Silva. Give me the Ronson KO at plus 350. And give me to get it done early at plus 700. Silva, again, another guy who I don't think is completely defensively responsible. And, the chin is showing some liabilities. Ronson can hit pretty hard. And, maybe he has the better track record with these, but I'm going to take him to just get it done early. I can't say I love plus 700. I would have liked a better number, but as a dog, can't complain with that. So we are moving on. We got 2 fights left that I'm going to cover for props. Mike Davis against Vlashev Borshev, a.k.a. Slava Claus. You will see one of my props is amazing, and one of them is not as great. So I'm playing the Borshev KO plus 350 pre-tape. I was going to be all about Mike Davis. The more I dug into it, there were a couple of things I didn't like. The big thing here is that I don't think Davis, whereas he's good at getting takedowns, he doesn't do much with them. And as we've seen, it's if this thing does go the distance, which is not part of this prop, if this thing that goes the distance, judges haven't been very kind to people just getting the takedowns and doing nothing with them, unless you're being a wet blanket like Mark Diakese was to Borshev. Borshev, a top team. Yeah, I know. Like, we know the story with him. He's gotten taken down by a lot of people. His get-up game, though, is pretty good. I think Diakese's a very good wrestler when he's in top control. So I can forgive this one a little bit. But you have to think that that's all he's been working on at ATT. His takedown defense, his get-up game. On the feet, Borshev's been the more active fighter. I love what I see from his striking. I think he's got some serious power. His body shots are great. And as an old-time boxing fan, give me that all day. I love those guys. Mike Davis definitely hasn't been as active as you'd like from a favorite. I think the reason the line is the way it is recency bias on how Borshev was taken down a lot by Diakese. Mike Davis's biggest win is against Mason Jones, and that win maybe hasn't aged as well as it looked at the time. So I'm going to take a stab on Borshev here to get a knockout. I think if this thing does go the distance, the optics are going to be in Davis's favor, unless Borshev is just hurting him without putting him away. But give me Borshev to get the KO at some point at plus 350. I don't think the round 3 KO is a terrible look, but I don't want to get greedy with this one. And then, of course, Borshev wins, we know we're getting the happy Russian dance. It'd be very un-American of you not to root for the happy Russian dance, as it is hilarious. Last prop that I have here, Randy Brown against Francisco Trinaldo. Let me make this very clear. I do think Randy Brown wins this fight more often than not. I don't love the line. I will not be betting the Randy Brown side. Due to the line, I would need a lot tighter line than this. So why do I have Trinaldo KO props up here? Well, maybe it's just another, I'm going with the older guy again, but the ageless wonder Trinaldo, he's looked good. Now, look, he's fighting, like his last fight against Danny Roberts. Danny Roberts is a barely UFC caliber, in my opinion. He's never really impressed me. But Trinaldo fights intelligently, and if you look at the Brown side, you look at the way he's lost, his losses are. Luque, who I think Trinaldo and him are similar in some ways, especially with the way they strike. I think Brown's susceptible to taking a big shot. I know he got knocked out by Nico Price, but that's such an outlier. It's such a bizarre ending to that fight. But when I look at how Brown can lose, I think Brown's going to win a decision 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times. I think if there's finish equity here, it's on the Trinaldo side. If Trinaldo, he knows how to fight with desperation. He knows if the fight's not going his way, he doesn't just coast and try to not get finished and lose the decision. He throws a lot of power shots. I think if Trinaldo's going to get the KO, if Brown's been knocked out in the second round twice, I think Trinaldo, if he's taken down in the first round or he's getting pitter-pattered from the outside, maybe he starts launching bombs as the fight goes on. So I'm going to take the stab here. I think plus 900 is a great price. I think plus 2,500 for his round 2 is insanity, especially if Brown starts to get comfortable on the feet in the first round, feels like the whole fight's going his way. Maybe he has a defensive lap. So I will be taking a poke on Trinaldo's props here. As far as the rest of the card goes, I didn't see anything I love. I think with the Youssef fight, there's not a lot of meat on the bone with that one. The Trevin Jones-Barcelos fight, unless you like the Jones KO, and I don't. I think Barcelos' decision is probably the way to go there. That's minus odds. I don't really love the main event here, unless you're playing the Dern late sub props. But even those, you're getting plus 1,200, plus 1,400, I think, for 4 and 5. Not worth it to me for such a difficult win condition to hit. And that's it. Now, tomorrow on the happy hour with Monk, I'll be going over all my picks, and we will be going over the DFS waves to roster this fight. Some of the guys that I gave you for props where I'm picking their finish are on the relatively cheap side. Trinaldo is a cheap option from a DFS perspective. Canetti is a cheap option on the DFS side. I would avoid the Allen Jocko fight completely, but that's what I have Monk Maddox for. He's the DFS expert when we talk tomorrow. So thank you for spending 15 plus minutes out of your Thursday or Friday or Saturday, whenever you're watching this. And good luck. Win big. Tip your dealer if you win. I'm just kidding. Just go spend the money on something nice for your family. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. See you in 2 weeks for props to consider, and then maybe bet, and definitely with a guest. Take care.